Good evening and welcome into the Weather Now Kentucky channels. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube tonight, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. And we have some storms that are now moving into the northern portions of the state. So we're going to begin our live coverage of this storm system. Not sure exactly how long we'll be live, but we'll go until we feel like it's getting to a point where we'll settle things down. But of course, as you're coming into the broadcast, if you would not mind, share the video. I appreciate that a ton, and leave a like on it as well. It helps us grow and it helps spread the information out. So thank you to everyone that likes and shares the video, and welcome on in. I'll give it probably a minute or two before we get started on things, just to kind of cut down on the repeating a little bit. But I'll leave the radar on right here, obviously. On the bottom portion of your screen, you'll see the current counties that are included in the severe thunderstorm watch. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the line coming through, how crazy it's been today with this line, and so on and so forth. Ashley, hello. Jessica, hello, out of Barberville. Red, hello, how are you? Sweetheart Gaming, hello. Black Adam, hello. Hudson, Zachary, good evening to you guys. Hudson says, I guess yesterday wasn't good enough, huh? I guess not. Caitlin, good evening to you, my friend. Sandra out of Campbellsville, how are you? Good evening, everybody. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on this. Real quick, I'm going to share this on my Facebook, just like I'm asking you guys to do, because Facebook is really bad at giving alerts out. Actually, I'll probably give it a couple minutes. Now that I think about it, probably give it a couple minutes, but I'll pull it up here and just get it ready. Um, okay, let's take a look at the radar here. Again, thank you to everyone that's liked and shared the video. We appreciate you guys a ton. In this pink area that you see here, obviously, is your severe thunderstorm watch area. Okay. Also, want to point out that this Western Kentucky corner here, this northwestern side of the state, probably going to get added to this eventually. Probably this area here, maybe a little bit further south, because of this stuff that's coming to be moving down. It's just that this stuff over here on the western side is moving incredibly slow. These storms overall are moving. I mean, last I checked, they were moving about 30 miles per hour. They're still at about 30 miles per hour. Just for a moment, I'm going to turn off the watch area just so the radar kind of cleans up a little bit, if you will, to kind of show you what we have going on. So this eastern side has been a little bit more tamed than we probably would have expected. There are some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts occurring from places like Maysville to Mount Olivet, up there through Williamstown, Owenton, so on and so forth. And those may tick up. We'll keep an eye on it. But right now, the kind of the obvious portion to watch is your area here, just a smidge east of Jefferson County, and it will miss the Louisville area. This western side may clip the eastern Jefferson County area. We'll see as it's moving southeast. And this has been carrying 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts with it. It looks like they brought it back down to 70 now. You can see it's kind of just a wall of winds. There really hasn't been much rotation with this. Do want to point out real quickly, I'm going to turn the watch area back on just so you can kind of see it for yourself. As you can see per the watch, the hail threat's less than 5%. The tornado threat's about 10%, which sounds large, but to kind of convert that for you, that's about a 1% chance. So the tornado odds are basically zero. I won't say zero, but basically zero. Damaging winds is really your only threat with this. 55 to 70 mile per hour wind gust have been pretty common with this line as it's moved through. Although now it's got a lot of rainfall starting to develop in front of it. You're obviously kind of seeing exactly what we're seeing as well, which is a pretty obvious kind of gap right here. Again, moving southeast, so kind of watching this area. And so if you're like an E-Town, Brandenburg, Radcliffe, West Jefferson County, Bullock County, Bardstown area, you're kind of watching that black circled area to see if it matures at all. Right now, and over the last couple of hours, it hasn't been very mature. So I will say right now, this is a little bit weaker than I anticipated. Of course, that can pick back up. That's kind of the case with these types of systems. They like to calm down and then they suddenly pick back up for an hour or two and then they calm down. That's always the case with these types of storm systems. But I'll just kind of point that out there. Don't let your guard down yet. But it has been a little bit more tamed, I would say, than probably what we were thinking. By the way, here is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. It does have the enhanced risk basically along the Ohio River there, Kentucky and Indiana border, and then a slight risk extends down into pretty much all of central and eastern Kentucky. As you can see here, here's the tornado outlook. It does have a 2% chance, basically for north central, northwest, and northern Kentucky. I don't even know if it's 2%, probably like 1%, to be honest with you. All right. Here's the damaging wind outlook. As you could tell, that is the leading concern here. 15% yellow, 30% in red. Most of your area in central and eastern Kentucky, you're in that 15% yellow risk. You'll notice the hatched area there. That is going to be for the potential for 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, which we have already noted. So no real major differences there. Kind of turn off the radar here. You'll see there's actually only one severe warning with this portion of the line so far, and that is again over the LaGrange, Campbellsburg, Bedford, Bethlehem, Newcastle areas just east of Jefferson County and downtown Louisville at the moment. And again, that's going to be for 60 mile per hour wind gust only right now. We are obviously keeping an eye on the far western side here. Really just as kind of this one cell right here, one portion of this cluster, if you will, that has been severe over the last hour and a half or so. And again, that will probably track down toward Owensboro, Morganfield, Henderson, maybe toward Breckinridge County in that northwestern Kentucky area. So that's kind of the one you're watching if you're over there. For the rest of the state, that central and eastern Kentucky, basically in the severe watch right now, you're really watching this cluster. I'll kind of draw it for you because I know everyone's going to ask. So let me just do this. We'll just draw this area. This cluster is one to watch for. Basically, it's moving southeast, kind of like that. So you're really watching, this area. If you're in like Lexington, Frankfort, Nicholasville, Richmond, Jeffersonville, Stanton, at the end of central East Kentucky there, you're really watching that cluster there. If you are, let's change colors here. Let's go with blue maybe. If you are in kind of the other area of the watch zone, so basically the rest of it right here, well, you're watching pretty much this stuff. So right now, obviously, you can tell it does take a rocket scientist to figure out it's not very strong at this point. There are a couple of yellows starting to pop up with some lightning, so we may be getting some strengthening. It's just, I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. The models, and you guys have heard it from every forecaster that's worth a dang, the models have been terrible for much of the year. And even most notably over the last few days at handling all of these systems, I mean, they have just been not very good. They did do well last night. I will say that they did do well last night for the Western Kentucky storm system. But as far as this system, I mean, from the jump this morning, I mean they had a large tornado up in Wisconsin this morning at like 11 a.m. and no model saw that. And then that's pretty much what sparked all this. That one supercell kind of ballooned into this huge cluster of thunderstorms here. And that's kind of what we're dealing with as these storms move southeast. And again, you have that warm, humid air moving north. You oftentimes get these types of storm systems in kind of over and over again. Last night, tonight, potentially tomorrow night as well for southeast Kentucky. And that's kind of the pattern that we're in. So again, I want to point out, for those of you that may just not be hopping in here, this pink area is your severe thunderstorm watch. Yes, it can be expanded. Do I know where exactly it's going to go? Probably not. If I had to guess, it may be expanded over here in the western portion of the state. Again, for this portion or this cluster up here. As far as when it comes to south of places like that, like Bowling Green, Edmonton, Columbia, Somerset, London, it's a big IDK. We don't know yet. It's a matter of just watching the storm line and seeing how it proceeds to the southeast and seeing how things go. Right now, we have the severe thunderstorm warning active in this orange area for Bedford, Campbellsburg, Newcastle, LaGrange, Bethlehem, and Owen, Kentucky. Again, mainly for 60 mile per hour wind gust. And you can see here if we pull up our measuring tool, they're about 50 to 60. And you have a couple of these red versus green, very broad, again, indicating maybe a downburst is occurring up to 60 miles per hour. So that'll be a common theme tonight. Once again, anyone tuning in, the tornado threat is incredibly low. I won't say zero, but it is incredibly low. And if anyone sees a tornado tonight in Kentucky, it would likely be a very brief, weak version of a spin-up tornado. Okay? That's kind of what we're dealing with right now. The line is moving at about 25 to 35 miles per hour to the southeast. So if you're wanting to know like where you're at, you're looking, for example, if I'm in, I know a lot of you are looking at the radar trying to figure out what I should be looking at, so on and so forth. So, for example, if I'm in Bardstown, right, and these storms are moving southeast, well, I want to look northwest, which would be this way, and this is what would be coming toward me. So that's a good example of what you can look at or look for on the radar. Same thing for like Taylorsville. I would be looking northwest, or like Frankfort, northwest. You kind of get the idea at this point. That's kind of what you're looking at. That's how these storms are moving. And again, there is the possibility that these kind of ramp up as they get into Kentucky, but I'll also say it's 9 o'clock at night. So again, now you're starting to get out of that, peak heating. You're starting to get away from the sunshine. So it's going to be interesting to see what these storms do as they move into Kentucky and as they go deeper into the state. Will they ramp up like kind of what the models have been saying, or will they falter away because they're losing that surface heat? Going to be really, really, really interesting to see what these do. And you guys know I've always been honest with you. And I'm being honest with you right now. It's kind of a 50-50 on if the storms can continue on and produce the damaging wind threat, or if they just kind of fizzle out and create these massive thunder showers where then our threat, kind of changes from damaging winds to potentially flash flooding. So, again, it's kind of a 50-50 on what exactly these storms want to do tonight. I can tell you they've been alive for a while. These storms have been alive for a while. They've come all the way from Wisconsin earlier this morning, have traveled through Illinois, Michigan, through Indiana, Western Ohio, and have now made it to Kentucky. So the storms have been alive for probably about 10 hours at this point. And again, some of the models are saying, hey, they're going to grow when they get into Kentucky. Some of the models are saying, hey, they're going to fizzle out. So again, it's kind of a 50-50 shot. Really not seeing much rotation with these. There is one tornado warning all the way up there in southeast Indiana that we're kind of keeping an eye on. Again, that would go more toward the Evansville, Indiana, Owensboro, Kentucky area, probably in about 2 to 3 hours. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now, where we're going for the rest of the night, so on and so forth. Thank you to everyone that's liked and shared the video, by the way. I appreciate you guys. It's free for you guys to do. So thank you to everyone that has been liking and sharing the video. I'm actually going to share this onto our page now as well, now that I have a moment, because Facebook is very bad at notifying people that we're live, because they want me to buy that verification, and I'm not going to do that. So they can kiss my butt. Okay. I got the post out there that we're live. I see everyone's liking and sharing it. Thank you guys very much again for that. Again, for those of you that may just not be tuning in, we do have one active severe warning. Again, up here toward LaGrange, Newcastle, Campbellsburg, Bedford, Henryville, Bethlehem, so on and so forth up there. And again, that's for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Again, a lot of people are asking what portion of the line their areas will get. Again, look northwest, folks. Northwest. So, for example, once again, if I'm in like Danville, for example, I'm looking over here toward Louisville. That's a portion of the line that I would probably see, right? Also, if anyone's asking for if anyone's good, obviously the storm line just got started, right, folks? So we're not giving anyone an all good or an all clear yet, right? Thank you for the 99 stars. I appreciate you. Says, will Corbin get anything? You'll probably see some storms way later on tonight. Again, how exactly they look, I don't know. You got a few hours till they get to you. We'll see how they trend. Again, the answer is going to be the same for everybody. If you do see a storm tonight, damaging winds would be really the only main risk there, with potentially flash flooding as well. I really don't see a tornado risk or really even a hail risk as well. We're really pretty much just looking at the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. And the answer is going to be the same for everybody. If you see a storm tonight, that's the main concern. Want to point out these storms are moving pretty slow as well. So, for example, if you're in Elizabethtown, you still have a couple of hours till the storms get to you. If you're in Somerset, obviously you still have 3-4 hours till they get to you. Just keep that in mind as well. Again, we still have the active warning over here for Newcastle, LaGrange, Campbellsburg, Bethlehem, and Owen, Kentucky. Going to scoot just east of Jefferson County. This western side may go through like Linden and Jeffersontown. Going to be really, 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 really close. Right now, though, I'll say it's kind of underperforming a little bit. Hopefully that continues. Don't let your guards down yet, but you guys know I'm honest with you. Right now, it's been kind of underperforming a little bit. Kevin, hello to you, my friend. Darth, hello. Will it reach Bowling Green and Scottsville? Again, I want to be honest with you folks. The models have been kind of 50-50 on how far exactly this line goes. But yes, the probability is Bowling Green will see these storms at some point way later on tonight. Exactly what state they're in by the time they get there, obviously a little bit unclear at this point. Again, just to be honest, this is more of what we call in this industry kind of a nowcast event, where The models weren't really that good on handling this, and now it's kind of, hey, unfortunately, just being completely honest, we have to kind of watch and see how this thing goes. And I think we've made a post on it a couple nights ago. This is the type of pattern where unfortunately you get a lot of last minute alerts because these storm systems, these MCSs, in my opinion, they're almost as hard as to forecast as snowstorms. Like they're unpredictable a little bit on their movement. They're unpredictable a little bit on their exact strength, where they're going to pulse up and pulse down at. Um, you know, they're really next to snow systems. I really hate forecasting this type of storm. And if you guys didn't know, yes, there are different types of storms out there. And this is one of my least favorite to forecast because it's one of the least predictable. Again, even models, even model data that has been built over years and years and years and just getting smarter and smarter and smarter, they really tend to struggle with these types of storm systems because again the predictability of them is so low. So again, that's when you guys ask all the questions and stuff. I'm just honest with you and telling you, hey, it's 50-50. Obviously I wish I could give you a more concrete answer on everything, but right now you kind of see it's already not going as forecasted, and you can tell that by looking just at the radar. Right, you have your cluster here that's severe, and that's going to go down toward Lexington, Nicholasville, and Frankfurt over the next few hours. But you have this whole area over here that's included in the severe watch, right? But there's really no activity. The only activity is kind of some rain showers up here. So again, that even tells you that even for the Storm Prediction Center, the experts at the National Weather Service, it's a little bit of a challenge for them to project a storm system like this. So again, just in all honesty, it's really kind of a wait and see type of game. If your name gets called in your city, kind of pay attention and listen to the alert, and then have a way to receive notifications. Now, I don't think tonight is anything that's going to be super violent in Kentucky. So a lot of you could probably go to bed as long as you have ways to receive alerts and you're in a safe structure. Obviously, if you're in a mobile home, you need to make sure you know where your shelters are, or a way to get to a shelter, because it's that kind of night. Mobile homes are not built for even 55 to 60 mile per hour wind gust. So again, when you're talking about the potential for up to 65, 70, you definitely want to make sure you have backup plans. I'm going to check on the radar here. Weatherwise, this tornado ID feature is hinting at some possible rotation. There may be a slight hint there, but that's not much. It looks more like a downburst of winds to me. Again, near the LaGrange area going over I-71. You can kind of see right here, this red versus your green right here. This is kind of where your peak winds are with this storm. So right here is kind of where it's at. Right now it's in Newcastle, LaGrange. It'll head down toward Goshen, River Bluff, Park Lake, Crestwood, Eminence over the next 25 to 30 minutes or so. There is a special weather statement active over here for Frankfurt, Sadieville, Barry, Cynthiana, Stamping Ground, and to Georgetown. This is going to be for the potential for 50-mile-per-hour wind gust over the next 60 minutes. Same thing for over here in Maysville, Mount Olivet, Mays Lick, Flemingsburg, and Vanceburg. 50-mile-per-hour wind gust is possible over there. And it looks like they have expanded the severe thunderstorm watch to include southwest Indiana, but that does not include, at least at this point, northwest Kentucky. Oh, there it goes. And this was the area I pointed out that may be added to the watch area. At this point, unless the storm system continues to mature, I think this is probably going to be where this watch area is left. So at this point, I don't think it's going to be expanded. We will see, of course. Again, we're kind of in a nowcast type of system here where we're kind of just watching the trends of the storm line. Speaking of which, I want to make sure I pull up our data here. Matter of fact, you can see, so all this blue on your screen, I'm gonna teach you something real quick. All this blue on your screen, sorry, by the way, I'm like exhausted today, is your negative storm fuel. And you can see that even before the storms have gotten here, there's actually a little bit of negative storm fuel inside of Kentucky. There's also quite a big pocket of positive storm fuel. So again, going to be interesting to see which one wins out. That's just the God's honest truth. We've seen this type of scenario, hundreds of times since I've started doing this, where we've had a system come into an environment in Kentucky where there is both positive and negative storm fuel. And sometimes they rock and roll, and sometimes they're just ballooned into massive rain showers, and the storms get choked off, and you just get a bunch of rain. And really don't get much of a severe threat. So, again, kind of a true 50-50 scenario here. The good news inside of Kentucky, there's not a whole lot of wind energy. So, ironically, even if we do see severe storms, they're probably going to be limited to 65 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, which is still substantial. But we're not really looking at a tornado risk or anything that's going to be super violent, in my opinion. unless one of those storms can get really tall and really close to the ground and really tap into the storm, the winds aloft and pull them down to the ground. Speaking of which, I'm going to see. Yeah, I mean, even so, last night, for example, this is what you're seeing on your screen is what we call the 850 millibar. It's kind of the layer of the atmosphere about a mile above our heads. And last night, the reason that a couple of those storms out in western Kentucky got up to 80-mile-per-hour wind gust is because in Kentucky, that 850 millibar was a little bit more active. A lot of this blue was down into Kentucky. Right now, there's no blue inside of Kentucky, which means the winds a little bit above our heads are not as active as they once were last night. Severe thunderstorm warning now issued for Cynthiana, Carlisle, Paris, Georgetown, stamping ground out here in central eastern Kentucky for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So we're starting to see this line here, despite all of the rainfall in front of it, get a little bit more active. Let's go ahead and check the radar and see what we have going on. We have a couple. I see why. We have you see kind of the red versus the green here. Most people would kind of confuse this with potential for rotation. This is not rotation. When they get to large green versus the large red, kind of like this one right here toward Lockport, this is kind of more of a classic signature of what we call a downburst of winds, which means a brief kind of pocket of wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour is in that area. And it looks like the SPC or the NWS is expecting that to continue into Georgetown, Cynthiana, Sadieville, Carlisle, and Paris. Ooh, I'm tired, y'all. This is supposed to be our off season. It has been anything but. That's why I had the whole studio and everything planned for this time of year because I thought I would have plenty of time to get everything moved and smoothed out. And man, we are just rocking and rolling. So again, LaGrange, Goshen, Newcastle, Bethlehem, Park Lake heads up 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts along the front edge of that line as it comes through. It'll be really close to the Louisville area. Probably going to go through the eastern side of Jefferson County over toward maybe just east of I-64 toward maybe Boston, Beckley, O'Bannon, and Fisherville. Wayne, thank you very much. Sorry, guys. Does the rest of the summer look to be the same with storms like we've had lately? No, typically with the El Nino type of year, you do get this brief tick up in mid to late July, maybe going into a little bit into early August. And then, kind of August through end of September, it should be calmer, maybe a little bit warmer, but calmer. And then, it sometimes can ramp back up toward Thanksgiving, maybe going into December with the potential for strong to severe weather. So it's kind of typical. I will say it's been a little bit more active than I expected. I knew we would see a tick up in strong to severe weather. This active, I maybe didn't see that coming. Do you think this will expand into Bowling Green? It's possible. Once again, I know we have some new folks coming in here. I want to point out this is kind of a 50-50 system. Okay. So what we're kind of doing right now is just kind of watching the radar. Watching the radar. The good news is for places like Bowling Green down there in the southern half of Kentucky, you still have a few hours till this even gets to you. So we have time to alert you. But again, just the God's honest truth. It's more of a watch and see type of system because the model data does handle this poorly. This is an unpredictable type of storm. It's called an MCS, a mesoconvective system. It's one of your more unpredictable types of thunderstorm systems. So again, it's kind of a 50-50. And that's kind of the post we made a couple of days ago, right? If you guys saw our post a couple of days ago, I mentioned that there may be a lot of late last-minute alerts because when you're in a pattern like this featuring multiple rounds of an unpredictable storm system, right, you kind of unfortunately have to wait and see how things evolve, especially when it's a line like this. So remember, this line that we're seeing now come through, Louisville, Frankfort, Cynthiana, making its way through Kentucky, this line actually started all the way back up here in Wisconsin. So when you have a storm that travels that long, and it started back at about 11 a.m. noon this morning, it's kind of a wait and see game. It's kind of a wait and see game. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Yes, the watch can expand. I would say it's 50-50. I would say it's 50-50, honestly. If you're just now hopping in here with us, welcome on in. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Thank you to everyone that has liked and shared the video. That's 100% free for you guys to do, and we appreciate you guys doing that. It helps us out a ton. You guys really don't realize how much it helps. So thank you very much. We do have 2 severe warnings active, although I think this one's probably going to be allowed to expire. For Cynthiana, Sadieville, Stamping Ground, Georgetown, Midway, Paris, Carlisle, just north of Lexington, Kentucky, for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust over the next 40 minutes. Then over here toward Newcastle, LaGrange, and Eminence, as well as Bethlehem, is where another 60-mile-per-hour warning exists. Although it looks like, because they put the special weather statement out, it may be allowed to expire. Going to be interesting to see. And then for kind of the central area here in the watch area, places like Shepherdsville, Barstown, Hardin County, Marion County, going around towards Springfield, Danville, Hardinsburg, Irvington, Brandenburg, kind of the central portion of this watch. You're kind of more so looking up here at Paoli, English, Salem, Orangeville, Indiana. And those are the storms that are coming into your area. And right now, it looks like just a bunch of rain showers, thunder showers. And then over here for the western portion of Kentucky toward Owensboro, Henderson, Tell City, basically what you're looking at is this one cluster right here, up here toward southeast Indiana, southwest Indiana, southeast Illinois. That's kind of what you're looking at in the next in a couple of hours. So it's kind of a watch and see type of game here, folks. God's honest truth. Do you think that storms will die down before they reach southeastern Kentucky? Again, kind of a 50-50. But I do think by southeastern Kentucky, all the way down there, they probably do die down. I mean, you got 4, maybe even 4.5 hours till that main portion gets to you. By that point, they should be in a much weaker state. Amanda, thank you for becoming a subscriber on Facebook. I appreciate that extra level of support. All right. Don't spam. That's the easiest way to get timed out. The Meade and Hardin County is going to get gapped. Well, again, they could mature, right? The storms that are coming to you, but right now, obviously, they look like just a bunch of thunder showers. Teresa, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate you on Facebook. What is coming into Richmond tonight? Again, obviously, look to your northwest there. You look around to LaGrange. Those are the storms coming into toward the Richmond area in probably about 2 hours ish. Any warnings in Vanceburg? No, you did have a brief special weather statement, but that has been canceled. Sorry if I sound a little bit flat tonight, folks. I'm just tired. I am just tired. I'm just going to put it out there to you. After last night and then getting up early today to do the forecast for tonight, and then obviously right now, I feel like I'm just running off fumes. I'm also not used to working this time of year. I know that's a very first world thing to say. I'm very privileged for that, but I'm not used to working this time of year. Usually throughout, July through September, weather people don't really have much to do in Kentucky. Usually it's very calm. So this has been a very abnormal kind of pattern for me, especially after having such a quiet spring. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to say because I know you're just looking at a guy sitting behind a desk talking for a living, but it is almost like you have to get in a rhythm. Like you have to have a few storm systems come through and you kind of get in a rhythm. If you don't have that rhythm like this spring, we barely had anything. If you don't have that, you kind of get out of rhythm and everything kind of gets out of practice, So I feel like I'm a little bit out of shape here when it comes to doing all these live broadcasts. I'm used to doing this during the spring. I feel like I'm almost out of practice here because this is just so abnormal. The allergies are going crazy tonight, like always. How many fish fillets severe will this be? I think right now we're looking at a line capable of 60 to 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Right now it's kind of performing a little bit weaker than I thought it would be, honestly. Now, obviously, toward Carlisle, Barry, Sadieville, Paris, Georgetown area, give a severe warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Obviously, also that's the lowest level of severe warning you can have is 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. So I'll say it's kind of underperforming a little bit in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see how these trend. My only thing is there's a lot of rainfall in front of this line, like a lot of rain. You're talking about, you got your main actual kind of energetic storms right here. That's kind of your main cluster, right? But if you look in front of it, that's a lot of rain that's helping to kind of tame that environment in front of it. So while, a marginally severe night is probably in store, I think all the rainfall that has jumped out in front is probably going to help this line remain a little bit more stable than what we may have originally thought, which is always a good thing, right? I know there's going to be some people yelling, "You got the forecast wrong," blah 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 blah. But it's always a good thing when things are a little bit more calm than we thought. So again, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It doesn't mean to let your guard down. Doesn't mean that it's going to be all clear, all good to go. I just think maybe we're looking at a smaller scale severe weather event. What I mean by that, maybe 60, 65 mile per hour wind gust maximum instead of maybe 70 to 75 mile per hour wind gust maximum. And yes, that 10 miles per hour actually makes a big difference. For some reason, when you have 60 mile per hour wind gusts, some things can fly around, small limbs, maybe a couple of, maybe some siding on some mobile homes and so on and so forth. But for some reason, when you make that jump, for some reason, and anyone that's lived through it or seen it in person, you know what I'm talking about. For some reason, when you make that jump to 70 from 60, it's like, excuse my language, but like, it's like all hell broke loose. And it's just a 10 mile an hour jump, but it's just that jump from 60 to 70 is a huge difference. So this rainfall that's out in front of it is going to help kind of take down the environment, drop those temperatures and dew points very briefly. And then when the storm line actually comes through, may not have as much energy available to it as originally thought, is basically what I'm saying. And then obviously for places like Taylorsville, Bardstown, Louisville, Radcliffe, Brandenburg, Hardinsburg, you know, you're technically included in that severe thunderstorm watch. I'll circle it kind of this area right here. But these storms are coming from the northwest and they're moving southeast. So if we're in this area, we're looking right here at these storms. Well, if you look up here at these storms, they're not doing a thing. They're not doing a thing. Now, we are starting to see a little bit more yellow pop out, which means these storms may be strengthening a little bit. But what are we not seeing right now over here? Can anyone answer what we're not seeing inside of this blue circle up here? What is it? We're going to teach something tonight, folks. What is a good sign that storms are strengthening or at least strong? Let's see here. Let's go to the YouTube chat and see if anyone's seen it. Hmm. Oh, Jacqueline, thank you for your $20 super chat. I almost missed that. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. I appreciate that over on YouTube. Ah, who said it first? Facebook got it first. I got Aiden Smith. I got it first. There's no lightning. There's no lightning. So again, indicates that these storms may be cold pulling, which means a lot of rainfall developing. A lot of rainfall develops, usually less severe threat. But obviously, you got to watch the flash flood threat. So again, it's kind of a 50-50, right? Where you have this portion of the line, a lot of lightning, but there's a lot of rainfall out in front of it, right? Whereas you have this portion of the line over here in south central Indiana for coming to central Kentucky, where there's a lot of rainfall, no real lightning yet. So we're kind of keeping an eye on that. And then even over here toward western Kentucky, right? Let me see if you guys can see this. Let me drag the screen over a little bit. Over here toward western Kentucky. So if you're in like Henderson, Owensboro area, in this northwest corner, these storms are coming from the northwest. They're moving southeast. So we're going to look to the northwest and see what you're looking at, which is right here. If you look up here, eh, it's not as active as it once was. So going to be interesting. Do they update this watch? No, same thing. I don't know why it does that on WeatherWise so much, where it refreshes. I'll have to ask them about that. I'm very curious. So, for the people wanting to know, basically, I went through all that because I wanted to say, for the people wanting to know if this watch area could be expanded, yes, it could be expanded south. Will it be? We gotta watch and see how it trends. It is go 9:15. We're starting to go deeper into the nighttime here. So it's going to be interesting to see how it trends and see how the cooler, more tamed environment in front of it impacts the storm system. And as we say that, we are starting to see some lightning over here toward English, Indiana. So I hate to say it, but this is an MCS, a mesoconvective system. These are random in nature sometimes. Sometimes they will pulse up, sometimes they will pulse down and be weak, and sometimes they'll go rampant, and sometimes they'll just be quieter than you expect them to be. So, again, 50-50, 50-50. Just being honest with you folks. If you're just not tuning in here, once again, I want to remind you folks, we do have I'm going to refresh this real quickly. We do have a severe warning over here for Georgetown, Midway, Cynthiana, Carlisle, and Paris. This is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, a part of the line back here toward Barry, Sadieville, Stamping Ground, with maybe a few wind gusts being thrown out in front of that line. Again, that's over the next 30 minutes over there. The one over here for Eminence, Crestwood, is heading towards Shelbyville, Frankfort. That has been downgraded to a special weather statement. A lot of lightning with this bad boy tonight. A lot like last night. I hate that I just can't find an allergy medicine that works for me for an extended period of time. You think Maysville is in the clear now that storms have moved through? Yes. So this should be your only storm line tonight, folks. Now, of course, there could be some storms behind it that come through the same area, but if this storm line goes through your area, it'll knock down the environment quite a bit. Let's see here. Go to the Kentucky Mesonet. Kind of show you this. Yeah, you can already see that storm line came through northern Kentucky, and look at the temperatures dropped up there. You're down to 70-degree temperature, 68-degree dew point. Whereas if you look at somewhere in Boyle County, 80-degree temperature, 77-degree dew point. 77-degree dew point at 9:15 at night is absurd. But you're kind of seeing it for yourself. The storm line should weaken the environment quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, Xyzal worked for me earlier this year, but dude, Xyzal makes me sleepy, and I hate that. Any explanation as to why that severe warning wasn't given to Grant or Owen counties as it moved through? Um, Probably because if I remember correctly, there wasn't 60-mile-per-hour winds gust a part of that when it came through that area. I think they were at 50. You have to be at 58 mile per hour or greater. You have a severe warning now for Frankfort, Shelbyville, and Lawrenceburg. Going to be for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts over the next 42 minutes. Pulling up our velocity here, we can see there's definitely some downburst occurring. You kind of see this again, this elongated red versus the green there, indicating downburst is occurring in maybe a little bit of one starting just northwest of Shelbyville. So now we have a warning from Shelbyville, Frankfort, Lawrenceburg, Taylorsville over toward Midway, Georgetown, Stamping Ground, Sadieville, Cynthiana, Paris, and Carlisle, Kentucky. Again, for 60 miles per hour on your damaging wind gust threat. Once again, I want to point out, folks, the tornado threat is not zero tonight, but it is remarkably low. Remarkably low. Burnt Creek Haskin looks sick right now. Let me see. Looks like it's offline for me at the moment. I got a red circle up here. There it goes. This is courtesy of Lens Alert and Louisville Metro Emergency Services, by the way, and has cam. So you can view this on the WeatherWise app. Ooh, look at that lightning. This is looking at the storm that's going through probably towards Shelbyville right now, by the way. So seeing that lightning that far away, look at that. I try to see the cloud base in the middle there. See if we see anything interesting. Looks like a nice smooth wall cloud. Again, non-tornadic. Wow, look at that. Oh my gosh, my allergies. I'm sorry, folks, if you see me messing with my nose so much tonight. Some people get weirded out by that, but guys, when I talk, I don't know if it's the vibrations coming from my voice or whatever, but when I talk, my nose just starts itching. Just itching. Claritin D is a good one. Yeah, I change I pretty much change allergy medicines once every month because it's like my body gets too used to them so fast. The no tornado threat for the London Corbin area? No. Gail, thank you for the update out of Georgetown. Remember, guys, if you guys let me pull this up by the way too. If you get any pictures or videos of anything tonight, of course you can send them to our Facebook page, Weather Now Kentucky. Send them to our messaging inbox there. Let me pull that up real quickly. Oh my goodness, my nose. My nose. I am glad it's my nose now, though. When I was younger, it was always my throat that hurt. That would be pretty annoying to deal with since I talk for a living. But we've already got some type of damage being reported. This is for um damage in Maysville, Kentucky. Looks like the top of a RV camper came down, maybe. The awning. That's from Keith. Sirens went off in Lexington? What? Not even under a warning yet, let alone a tornado warning. Amy, I never heard of that. Starting to get rough here in Owensville. Thank you for the update there. Taking a look around the radar right now. We do have a special weather statement out now for Owensville and Moorhead, Kentucky. We got that has came over there in Moorhead. Let's take a little bit of a gander at that, see what that's looking like. Let me pull that up here. Where you at, Moorhead? Oh yeah, that has cam's getting rocked. Look at that, folks. Look at that. That has cam is getting rocked right now. That again, that's the has cam that is just a little bit west of Central Moorhead. It's not even in the peak of the reflectivity there either. All right, let's go back over here. We have a new warning that's just out now. Well, not new, but updated. They trim off the backside or something there. It's the same warning, folks, pretty much. Sirens are announcing severe thunderstorms. Stay inside. What? Since when do we put off sirens for 60-mile-per-hour severe warnings that don't even include Lexington yet? When is that the case? Every county has their own thing, which I hate. I hate that every county has their own thing. It makes the messaging super hard to like be consistent. I feel like it should be a statewide like policy on stuff like that. It makes it like if you're traveling, it makes the messaging, not being consistent if you're traveling throughout Kentucky. Is there any tornado watches or warnings anywhere? No. Severe thunderstorm watch and severe thunderstorm warnings out tonight. Hmm. What a weird storm system. Like I love doing weather, but this is the type of storm system that I just makes me want to pull whatever is left of my hair out. Because, you got this cluster here, obviously severe. You got a big old gap right here with just rain showers. And then you got one severe warning and sail over here. It just makes it difficult. Just makes it difficult. When I lived in Clark County, they would go off for thunderstorm warnings. Not sure if they still do that or not. See, that's just. I feel like they're called emergency alert systems. Is a 60-mile-per-hour severe warning an emergency? Probably not. Actually, definitely not. It's dangerous, but it's not an emergency. So why are we alerting the emergency system, right, for a non-emergency warning? Does that make sense? That's the part I hate about it. And then you put off those sirens so much, it creates siren and warning fatigue, which is a very real thing. Like for example, if I told you 5 times I was going to give you $10,000, are you going to believe me the sixth time I tell you that? And I never gave it to you the first 5 times? No. Are you going to believe a siren system if it goes off for 60-mile-per-hour winds 5 nights in a row, and then you get a large tornado come through and you get the same siren system? You don't believe it? Probably not. So that's why I hate it. That's why I hate it. Then you got some counties that go by the code red system, and then you got some counties that only go by the National Weather Service system. Just crazy. It should be a statewide thing. So if you're traveling through a state, you know what the systems are no matter where you are throughout that particular state. Have you thought about making a video on what settings options you use on WeatherWise? I have. I just every time I get the time, I get the time, either I'm too tired or forget about it. And when I don't have the time is when I remember to do it. Again, we do have two severe warnings: Cynthiana, Carlisle, Paris, Georgetown, Stamping Ground, Midway, Kentucky for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. And then we have Shelbyville, Frankfort, Lawrenceburg in that 60-mile-per-hour severe warning as well. Do want to point out these storms are probably going to look a lot worse or feel a lot worse because there is going to be a lot of heavy rain, a lot of bright lightning mixing with those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It's probably going to sound and look a lot worse outside than what it actually is. Don't freak out. Just stay inside. You'll be fine. Stay inside and you'll be fine. Have you lobbied at a state level for them to adopt a statewide weather service system? I don't. Politics are so dumb. Politics are so dumb. And even though that's not a political thing, it would somehow get turned into a political thing because people are weird. Everything in this world now is. Don't let me get on a soapbox here, but everything in this world now it's got to be red versus blue. Like, who gives a crap? Get this stuff done for your people. I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on. If the general public needs something, get it done. But you know, we'd rather spend money on stupid stuff. So that's my 2 cents anyway. Ugh, don't get me started on all that stuff. I'm still mad about the National Weather Service getting cut. Just looking through the radar real quick, folks. We got the strong storm over here toward Moorhead, Owensville, Frenchburg as well. It's going to head down toward West Liberty and Sandy Hook eventually. And again, that's 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts on that special weather statement in blue there. They shift away from Radcliffe. What are they looking at for tonight? No, it didn't shift away. It's just the portion that's coming toward Radcliffe is not as strong as we thought it would be. Don't let your guard down completely yet, but it does look substantially weaker than the other portions of the line. Good stuff, Kelly. Georgetown's getting clobbered. Yeah, you got a nice little strong portion of that line just above you there. Probably getting the worst of the winds right now. The new W&K location hiring? Heck no, I'm out of money. Turn on the Canada warning. Why do they make these things so large? Because Canada's not as used to dealing with severe weather. So like their systems up there in Canada are way behind. Like as you could tell, they are way behind. They will. It's like, for example, this tornado warning here. Even if that tornado warning's up here, just for this area, they will warn like the entire like grid there. It is so weird to me. What did that person say? Yeah, but you should still go to the state to try and get it done. Guys, our governor's busy trying to prepare for a presidential run. I doubt he wants to hear from George at Weather Now, Kentucky about tornado sirens. All right. I mean, let's be real here, folks. I'm a very real person. I doubt he's going to want to hear from me. That would be fun, though. I have tried lobbying for a statewide weather camera system, like most of the smart states are doing down here. But again, we'd rather spend our money on stupid stuff. Is the storm hitting Meade County worrisome? No, not at the moment. How did Wisconsin get hit so hard earlier without warning? Oh, they have warning. Now, as far as the violent tornado that occurred, no one expected that. But that was just a unfortunate scenario where everything came together at the perfect time, and that happens sometimes. So, how's the NWS cuts affecting you? Um, yeah, I mean, they're affecting all forecasters, right? Even people outside of the National Weather Service, right? Because not a lot of people realize just how much work the National Weather Service and NOAA does, and how much they have an effect on the weather data we use. Them launching balloons and stuff. That is a huge thing, right? Because a lot of our storm systems. And I'll get back to this, folks. Right now, it's pretty much the same thing it has been for the last 20 minutes. Right? A lot of our storm systems and energy come from this portion of the country. Well, when those budget cuts came through, they no longer launch balloons here unless it's on very special days. So we can't sample the data or the storm and the energies that are coming through. And so the data uses those samples to correct itself and to make it better and more accurate. But when you don't have that data coming in, because you can't hire anybody, you can't pay those people anymore, well, the data gets affected and you have less accurate forecasts from all outlets, National Weather Service, us, your classic TV stations, everything. So it's a huge effect. It's a huge effect. If you're just not tuning in, you still have that severe warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts over here in Carlisle, Cynthiana, Paris, Georgetown, Stamping Ground, and Midway along I-64 there for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And then over here for Frankfort, Shelbyville, Simpsonville, Finchville, and Lawrenceburg in this general area for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well. This is the only portion of the line right now that's really doing anything. If you're over here in Central Kentucky wondering what the heck's going on, everyone's talking about, well, the portion that's coming into your area right now is still extremely weak, just a bunch of thunder showers. So again, we're kind of just watching this one cluster at the moment here. We live at a double wide tonight. Should we be worried about it tonight in Stanford, Kentucky? Um, you know, let's probably go just east of you. I probably wouldn't. Just keep an eye. Make sure you know where your shelters are. Is Kentucky in the new tornado alley? It depends on the. This is going to sound really weird, folks, but it depends on what's happening right here each year. The Central Pacific Ocean. The temperatures there have a huge impact on our weather throughout pretty much the entire planet, but specifically here in Kentucky. And during La Nina years, which means this portion of the ocean is running cooler than normal, then the jet stream is usually aligned to something like this over the springtime. And usually to the right of that jet stream is where you get all your severe weather. So during La Nina years, when the ocean is cooler than normal, yes, Western Kentucky is Tornado Alley. During El Nino years, that usually shifts to the north for the spring, which is up here, which is why you saw Indiana and Illinois constantly get slammed this year. And then eventually by the fall time, it shifts down to here, into Dixie Alley, and to the southeast. And during that transition, which is July and August, well, in between those two areas becomes the focus of severe weather, which is right here. So this is all very typical so far, and it really has depends on what the ocean's doing. Is the cluster weakening? No, right now it's kind of maintaining its strength at about 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Is Moorhead all clear? I wouldn't really give anyone the all clear unless this line has passed you, which it has not passed Moorhead yet. The only area it has passed is this northern Kentucky area. This is the only area it's passed so far. So this is the only area that gets the all clear. Outside of that, it hasn't really passed anyone else yet. Never understood that till now. Thank you, George. Thank you. Then there's a lot of information out there that tries to scare people and tries to get you guys to click on it. So yeah, they'll go, Western Kentucky is now the new tornado alley. Be on the lookout for the next entire lifetime. That's not how it is, folks. It all depends on where the jet stream is moving, and you got to have so many things come together. And it felt like Western Kentucky was becoming part of tornado alley because we were stuck in a La Nina phase for almost 4.5 years. Those 4.5 years were 2021 to 2025. So during those 4.5 years, West Kentucky constantly, spring, winter, summer, it didn't matter what time of year it was just getting slammed by tornadoes. So yeah, it felt like it. But our planet is so dynamic because it's living. You can't ever say for certain somewhere things are happening. Yeah, a lot of lightning with these. A lot of lightning with these. Again, right now the wind gusts, folks, they're measured at 60 miles per hour on the peak. Let me go ahead and go back through just to make sure. We've got about 15, about 15. Yeah, we got about 45 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts occurring. Again, in these two warning areas, Georgetown, specifically from Georgetown to about Shelbyville. You kind of see the deeper reds there. It's kind of where you're obviously your more probably strong wind gusts are going to be as well. And you kind of see it starting to come together now. Oh my gosh, my nose. Yeah, Justin, I really pay attention to that too much tonight. Thank you, Destiny. I appreciate you. Is Litchfield, Kentucky good, or should we stay up? I think you'll be fine. Just keep an eye on it because Grayson County has been a magnet lately, it feels like. I wonder what winter has in store for Kentucky this year. Probably quite severe, especially for December. I think it's severe weather is probably quite active. And then probably quite a mild winter. During El Nino, we're usually a little bit drier and a little bit colder. Is Hardin County going to be skip tonight? No, you'll see some thunderstorm activity, but the stuff that's coming into Hardin County right now has been pretty weak. You can see it's just generally thunder showers. Dude, my nose is going. We're going to do this. Don't make fun of me. Oh. Nose is itching like crazy. Yes, E-Town, Kentucky is currently under the severe thunderstorm watch until 2 a.m. Nervous in Linden? I wouldn't be nervous in Linden, Kentucky. When do you post winter prediction? Usually I do my first one around Halloween, between Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then I usually do the second one early December. By the way, every year around this time, people start coming out with winter forecasts. Don't believe that crap. How's Somerset looking tonight? Again, I think these storms probably die down quite a bit by the time they get to you. Is this the only way for Central Kentucky? Yes. Is Muhlenberg? A lot of people are asking if you're going to see anything. I do think most people see some sort of thunder shower tonight. Okay, but when they go more south, they should get weaker. We will see. Again, it's kind of a 50-50 type of storm system, folks. Thank you to everyone watching. We're live on both YouTube and Facebook tonight. Thank you again for all the likes and shares on the video. Sorry that I keep scratching my nose. My allergies are going absolutely insane. In Monticello? No, you're probably good at Monticello. Roberta, thank you for the 200 stars. I appreciate you. Once again, folks, we have two active severe warnings, basically from Georgetown to Shelbyville. Carlisle and Paris at the end are also in this, but I don't really see that. Georgetown to Shelbyville looks like you're kind of your warning area right now. Again, for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and you're starting to see this kind of bow out here. So I don't know if anyone in here is from Lawrenceburg, but I'll bet you those winds are really starting to kick up from Lawrenceburg to Georgetown. Would you look at that? It's like the National Weather Service is watching us. They've updated the next warning, and it does include that kind of that same area we just kind of highlighted there. It's going to be from Lexington, Nicholasville, Highbridge, Harrodsburg, and Salvisa. It's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust right now over the next 1 hour. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. Whew. Allergies are going crazy. How fast are these moving? I believe about 30 miles per hour. Let me take a little quick glance. Oh, no, they picked up. Look at that. About 55 miles per hour. All right, I got to blow my nose. I got to try something. This is ridiculous. All right, I'm back. Oh. How bad are the winds in Frankfurt? I think I measured about 55 to 60. We can also do this as well from the Kentucky Mesonet. Whoa! Shelby County in Frankfurt looks like the Kentucky Mesonet peaked at about 65. So about 65 on the Kentucky Mesonet there. Yeah, you see all this red versus this green here, man. This is just a nice wall of wins. Looks like you have a downburst occurring between Georgetown and Lexington right now, too. Could be up to 70 there. I'd be curious to see if they upgrade this warning toward Lexington for 70-mile-per-hour wind gust. Let me get this line off the screen, too. I'm so sorry about itching my nose so much tonight, guys. It is crazy. Charlie, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. Shelly, thank you for the 99 stars. Thank you guys for starting the star party. I appreciate you all. We have to worry in Paris or Winchester. Winchester, maybe. Paris, I don't think so. We are not in the pink. Are we good for tonight? It's kind of a 50-50. Kind of have to wait and see how these storms progress as they get through Kentucky a little bit more. Is Franklin safe tonight, George, for a mobile home, or should I get out of here? Franklin's probably fine. Is Lawrenceburg good on tornadoes? Yeah, I see no rotation right now, guys. Lexington's under that severe warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Looks like the worst of it will be in your area in about 20 minutes. Gosh, my nose. Oh. I might have to run in and take some more Nasonex here in a second, guys. This is insane. My nose has not been this itchy in years. I just want to rip it off. Anton, I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering that, but thank you very much. I appreciate you, my friend. Insane and stamping ground right now. Yeah, it looks like the worst of it's past you now, thankfully. Lightning in for cells is wild. Yeah, look at the lightning. I mean, these are just over the last 5 minutes, folks. Look at all the lightning strikes coming up between Lexington, Georgetown, Frankfort, and Shelbyville. Just insane. Look at this Hascam in Nicholasville. I think this is Ryan Hall, and weatherwise this is Hascam. It is. You all know who Ryan Hall is, but just want to make sure I credit them accurately. It's so pixelated, though. Again, guys, no real tornado threat in my opinion tonight. You could have a very brief week spin up tornado, but again, it's like 1%. I really would not be worried about tornadoes tonight. I'd be worried about straight line winds. And guys, please do not spam, folks. Please do not spam. I can only see about 3 or 4 comments at a time. Mal K inside of a mobile home in Somerset, most likely. Again, for all the people that are in trailers and mobile homes tonight, make sure you just, at least know where your shelters and stuff are. That's always a good bet. No, I don't think London, Kentucky has a whole lot of concern. Are we okay in Versailles to stay upstairs right now? Putting the kids to bed. We're in an apartment. Yeah, I mean, it's 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts really aren't going to do a whole lot to an apartment. Now, when it gets up to 70, 75, you got a little bit more to worry about, but 60 should be fine. Dude, my allergies are crazy tonight. Jeez. Again, guys, tornado risk is like 1%, folks. I really would not be concerned about tornado risk tonight. I'd be concerned about the straight line winds. Boy, I am so surprised by this gap here. Look at this gap of just nothingness. I wouldn't be surprised if they just canceled this watch right here. Really not necessary at this point. Watching you from the TV, just wanted to come in and chat and say, hey, thank you for all you do for all of us Kentucky GOAT. Thank you, Macy. I appreciate that, my friend. You think the storm north of Owensboro will make it to make its own what? Make its own to us? Make it to Owensboro? It's possible. It's got a little hook on it. That would probably go more toward, I guess, the Henderson Owensboro line there. They've canceled that portion of the warning for Georgetown, by the way. They've canceled your warning. Could you show what way this is moving? These are moving southeast. So again, they're moving like this. How's Georgetown doing? They just canceled your warning there, so the worst of it's past you. What about Lexington? Worst of it will be in your area in about 15 minutes. Under that severe warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there in Lexington. Go-karts. Pretty sure I just pissed off half the people that are in here. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Anton, but I'm just gonna say Anton. Even though it's probably not right. I mean, you're talking about still being 5 hours or so out from Franklin. I highly doubt it keeps a hook up the entire way. Lily, thank you very much. I appreciate you. It's the only bad thing about you, George. I'm taking it that Ohio County doesn't really have much to worry about tonight. Probably not. I think this central Kentucky portion of the line, the western Kentucky portion of the line, it's just really not doing a whole lot. Dude, my nose. Oh, that's how I'm feeling right now. I mean, this portion of the line over here is just really, that's a terrible circle, by the way. It's just really not doing much. And of course, this is the portion of the line going into central Kentucky. It's just really just not doing a whole lot. Now, of course, you do have the one cell over here toward Vincennes or Princeton, Indiana, that will probably track through to about Henderson, Owensboro area, then down here toward Madisonville, Calhoun, and Hartford. But again, that's got probably 2.5 hours, so it gets there. It's moving incredibly slow. Probably will die out by the time it gets there. So really, I think, in my opinion, unless something changes, we're really just kind of watching this one cluster here, right, between Lexington and Shelbyville. And again, that'll be up toward Nicholasville, Harrisburg, Richmond, Danville, Stanford, Irvine, Stanton, Kentucky over the next couple of hours. So can Central Kentucky probably go to bed? Yeah. I mean, even if something hits you later on, you're probably talking about 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. I don't think that's going to kill you while you're sleeping, as long as you're, in a safe place. How fast are these storms moving? Well, the ones in East or Central East Kentucky, like these ones that we're looking at now, are moving at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. The ones back over here to Southwest Indiana, extremely slow, about 30 miles per hour. We did get a 61 mile per hour report here. I'm surprised they haven't had it in the report yet from Frankfurt. Kentucky Mesonet there for 61 miles per hour. Shelby County North. Oh, is that? Wait, that might be what it is. It is. Megan, thank you for your 50 stars. I appreciate that. Is it basically done now for Frankfurt? Yes. Again, right now, folks, we're kind of watching this one cluster here toward Taylorsville, between Taylorsville and Georgetown. That's really, to me, right now, the only area of concern. And again, that's kind of heading out toward this way. So I'm going to circle the areas that need to watch for the next few hours. If you're not circled, go to bed or do whatever you do at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday night. This is the area I think needs to really pay attention. Oh gosh, what a terrible arrow. If you're outside of this area, you may see some strong thunderstorms later, but I really doubt they could be anything super severe. And as long as you have wait and receive alerts, you should be good. It's really kind of the circled area where I'm kind of paying attention the most. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go grab some nasal spray real quick. Give me like 2 minutes. Okay. Did I miss anything? Dang, I lost 200 viewers. Jeez, y'all are impatient. That's a very specific severe thunderstorm watch. I expect this to turn a little bit more. The y'all squads out there. Oh, they have their camera. Okay. Very specific severe thunderstorm watch area. I'm surprised they didn't cancel this one while they were at it. Again, if you're just not tuning in here, we do have this warning from Lexington to Gainesway, Nicholasville, Keene, Highbridge, Harrisburg, Salvisa. Again, for 60-mile-per-hour severe wind gust possible inside of that line there. Any tornado chances? Not in my opinion. Yeah, Paris, Kentucky's fine. Winchester, Kentucky, probably going to get missed by a little bit there. This has cam courtesy of Ryan Hall and WeatherWise and Kentucky Phi. in Nicholasville. I'm kind of curious to see what kind of wind gust it picks up as that storm line gets closer to that camera. They in a hotel or something up there, apartment building maybe. Let's sit there at a home hotel or something. I don't know. Never heard of that one. Never heard of that one. Take a look around just kind of taking a look around the radar real quickly, folks. Warrensburg, good. Yeah, the worst of it's probably past you by now. Yeah, it is. Oh. Will this miss Mount Sterling? Yes, the worst of it should miss you. Any 70-mile-per-hour wind gust yet? No, not that I've seen yet. Lexington toward Hamburg. A tree just fell outside and made a huge noise, and we are in the middle of it, huddled up in the kitchen. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust ongoing there right now. Is that it for Lexington? No, you still got the backside of this line to come through here. That'll push through over the next 20, 25 minutes or so. I think they pretty much nailed the severe risk area for tonight now that they have the watch extended down to the south there a little bit. So I feel comfortable saying, hey, if you're in the pink areas, keep an eye on things tonight. If you're not in the pink areas, go to bed. So basically, if you see your name, your county name scrolling on the bottom there, pay attention. If you don't see your county name scrolling on the bottom there, go to bed or do whatever you do at 10 o'clock on a Monday night. Some of y'all do weird stuff. Again, I want to reiterate, I really don't see any tornado risk for anyone tonight. Make that very clear. Yes, that's for your city too. You see multiple downbursts happening. Downbursts are just little pockets of wind. Again, guys, pink area, severe risk tonight. No pink area, no severe risk tonight. Very simple one. Moorhead, the worst of it's probably past you. Is this the only line for Somerset? Yes, this is the only cluster of storms, folks. I got to see something real quickly. Hang on. Gosh darn it. I should have stuck with the first forecast I made yesterday. It was good. For those that missed it, this is the forecast I made earlier. Well, no, that's not it. This is it. I mean, it's still pretty good, but the first one I made was better. So we're good for Richmond? No. Richmond's pink. How do you think if he once gets to Berea? Probably a little bit weaker, but still posing a 60-mile-per-hour severe wind risk. How do you always talk about your forecast? Because I'm one of the only people that still makes their own forecast anymore. Everyone else just uses the National Weather Service stuff. All you guys see on the TVs, all the National Weather Service stuff, just in different colors. Winds just picked up in Lexington. Yeah, the main portion of that line is now getting to you there in Lexington and then toward the University of Kentucky in about 5 minutes. Yeah, actually, it's been a little busy around here. You still think it'll be weaker by the time it gets to Somerset? Yeah, I mean, again, it will still pose probably a 60-mile-per-hour severe wind threat, but I'm gonna be quite honest with you guys. If you're down there in Somerset and London and Monticello, 60 miles an hour is probably nothing to you at this point. You guys have been through way worse. Bluegrass Acres, thank you very much, my friend. We'll have both YouTube and Facebook tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to everyone that's liked, let's left a like on the video, and has shared the video. Those are 100% free for you guys to do. It helps us a ton. So thank you to everyone that has done that for us tonight. Come on, allergy medicine. Shoot. Kick in already, please. See if we get any good images from this Ryan Hall has cam. Oh, nice little lightning strike there as soon as we pulled it up. Okay, okay. That's a lot of lightning. Look at that. Yeah, guys, the hail will probably be pretty small. I mean, even right now, we're only measuring up to about nickel sized. Lexington heading towards Chicago says it's awful. Yeah, I bet it is. I wouldn't want to travel during this. Jennifer, thank you for your 100 stars. I appreciate you, my friend. Getting lots of lightning currently and wind, rain in Washington County. Thank you, Lisa, for the update there. I'm about to lose it, y'all. Got you interested in meteorology, if you don't mind me asking. Um, I'm a big like. Oh, how do I explain this? I'm a big person on trying to figure out why things happen. Um, so weather just kind of naturally fits into that because I know it's hard for a lot of people to believe because we want to think that human beings know everything, but we still don't know everything about the weather. So, I mean, a lot of people don't realize this, but we actually did not know, like the National Weather Service, the experts did not know tornadoes could form from the ground up until just a decade ago, right? We're still figuring out things about the weather and the climate. And that's what makes all these conspiracy theories so funny to me because we weren't even smart enough to know about that from tornadoes 10 years ago, but we're smart enough to know how to make storms happen. Come on. Um, but yeah, that's the big thing is there's still so much that we're learning about the environment. I mean, heck, there's some times where we get tornadoes that happen and it's 55 degrees outside. I mean, last year, Owen County, I think is where it was last year, or Dry Ridge, Kentucky. That's where it happened either last year or the year before that. It was a tornado that occurred. And it was 55 degrees outside. We didn't think that was possible. I mean, it's rare, but I mean, it's been happening more and more. So, the biggest reason I got into weather is because trying to figure out the what ifs and why things happen. I'm naturally a very curious person, and weather just fits into that. And when I was a kid, a lot of people would watch. When you're a kid, right? You watch a lot of Nickelodeon or cartoons or whatever. I was always watching the Weather Channel, Reed Timmer, a lot of chasing guys back in the day on the Weather Channel, Discovery Network, and I just was thrilled by it, and it just always kind of stuck with me, and it just naturally fits. The only ironic thing is I'm not an extrovert. I don't like talking to people, which is very ironic because I'm sitting here talking to you tonight and every night that we do this. That's the only weird thing about it. But yeah, it just kind of naturally fit. Is this over for Frankfurt now? Yeah. You think it would die down before it gets down here to Monticello? Again, I think it does weaken some, but it will still probably pose a marginal 60-mile-per-hour severe wind threat. Yeah, Cody, that was an awesome show. It sucks now that the Weather Channel is so bad because the Weather Channel when I was younger, back in the mid to late 2000s and early 20 teens. It was so good. Like, if you didn't watch Weather Channel back then, you missed out on a lot of really cool shows. Now it's just terrible because they're so focused on trying to make money from scaring y'all half the time. And then you got AccuWeather that's doing that now as well. It's just it's terrible what most of the weather, not most, what some of the weather industry has come to. If they're not trying to scare you into making money, they're using just complete AI. Some of these big YouTubers out here are just using nothing but AI to make everything. Even when you think they're being real on social media, that's not them. That's their AI that they made. It's crazy. And it's like most people don't even make their own forecast anymore. Everyone just uses what the National Weather Service puts out, which is fine. But like, it's crazy. People will take that forecast and then just change the colors to make it look like their own forecast. And I'm just like, dude, we have lost the art of forecasting in this world because everyone's just so focused on trying to milk every single cent out of you guys. It's crazy. Crazy. They'll change the colors to make it try to look more dramatic. They'll change the title slightly to be accurate, but still try to be dramatic for you. Like in the wintertime, they'll make these huge snow ranges that are probably unrealistic, but as long as they do it at first and then hone it in later, no one ever really catches them on it. For example, Chris Bailey is really big about this. This past winter, he put a snow forecast out that had a snow range of 2 to 10 inches. That's going all the way from a dusting to a triple certified platinum winter storm. You can't do that. And then by the time they get closer, they'll go, oh, we've honed this in, now we got more accurate. You should never put an 8-inch range out in the first place. So, I mean, I hate what it's come to, and the big reason I got into weather is just because I like being real with you guys. Some people like it, some people don't. At the end of the day, I know I'm doing what I can to protect you guys and keep you guys informed. Am I always going to be right? No. But I know when I lay my head down at night, I didn't try to milk you guys out every cent. I just try to be real with y'all. So that's a short and easy. Yeah, the hurricane coverage is really cool. Hard to know what's real and fake anymore. AI has ruined a lot of things. Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I have used AI in some of my things, okay? It's gotten to a good point in the weather field a little bit. But, we don't have to do everything with artificial intelligence. Tyler, thank you for the update out of Wilmore. I appreciate that. How does Harding County look for tonight? Probably fine, honestly. Just joined. Anything severe for Louisa, Kentucky? No. Touch my nose. Why are you talking bad about other professionals? I'm not talking bad. I'm spitting facts. Whether you want to think it's bad or not, that's up to you. It's not like I'm giving an opinion. I was giving a fact. Make me sound old when you say, I know. The freaking Cars movie, with Lightning McQueen and stuff. I loved that series growing up, and then I realized my wife told me a month or two ago it's like 17 years old now, and my jaw dropped. I was like, "What? 17 years old?" It's just crazy. That right there was one of the first times I stopped and was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting old." And then Finding Nemo was 21 years old. I loved Finding Nemo when I was a kid. Just crazy. Here, thank you very much. I appreciate this. Yeah, this is pretty much the only line, folks. And really, it's just kind of this one cluster here we're looking at. Everything else has pretty much been, honestly, pretty underwhelming. We got this cluster here that's through Lexington now, Winchester, Nicholasville, Highbridge, and Harrodsburg is kind of where the focus is at the moment. That'll eventually move down toward Danville, Richmond over the next 30 minutes or so. But we're kind of looking at this one cluster right here. Yes, Lexington's done with the worst of it. Wally's another good one. That mid-2000s era of Disney movies was phenomenal. I'm not getting notifications when you go live. Make sure you have the notification bell enabled on YouTube. Make sure you go into your YouTube app. Make sure you have all notifications turned on. And then sometimes social media just sucks at informing people. I don't know how to pronounce that. X Pro Elite Roofing. Thank you for becoming a supporter on YouTube. Enjoy the no ads. Thank you very much. Tell me about Carlisle, Kentucky. Oh, completely fine. My oldest will be 17 in October, and his Cars is his favorite Pixar movie to this day. I love Cars. How old am I? I am 29. Is Owensboro in the clear for the night? No, you got to watch that storm cell up there toward Princeton, Indiana. But you still got probably an hour and a half till it gets to you. Okay, Richmond, Winchester, Danville, Stanford, and Berea next up in that severe warning line. Going to be for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust over the next 1 hour. What about Louisville? I think Louisville's fine. Again, folks, I think it's just this one cluster we're watching here. So if you don't see yourself in that cluster or in front of it, you are fine. And yes, I love you guys, but you should know where you're at on a map. We're talking about this cluster right here, which would then include kind of the severe watch area. So if you're pink, watch. If you're not pink, don't watch. Or watch if you want. I think Louisville's fine. I think Radcliffe's going to be fine. I think Eton's going to be fine. I think Greenville's going to be fine. Will we get more severe storms in Frankfurt tonight? No, you will not. Stacy, thank you very much. Have a good night, my friend, if you're still in here. Yeah, I don't really see nothing happening from Meade County. Looks like that portion of the line is really underwhelmed. Really, folks, I think it's just this one cluster here. I got to be, I'm being honest with you. So you're really just looking, I'm going to circle it once more, but you're pretty much just looking at this area. That's kind of where this cluster is tracking. It'll start turning a little bit more south eventually. So I circled the area that really needs to watch tonight. If you're not circled, go to bed. I'm going to leave it up there for a minute. No, I really don't see nothing happening in Glasgow tonight. 70-plus wind in Georgetown about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I think the highest we measured was 54. You're not old. I'm starting to feel it, though. Only because again, like, all the things I enjoyed as kids, is now coming up on 20 years old. I had my 10-year high school reunion last year. I didn't go to that because I didn't like 95% of my high school. Too many cliques. I hated high school. I felt so much like an outcast in high school. To be fair, I did sleep a lot in high school. Sorry to my teachers. I did sleep a lot. So London's going to get hit bad? No, again, I think it's a 60-mile-per-hour severe wind threat. You've been through much worse in London. When is Nicholasville in the clear? Whenever that storm line gets done passing, probably about 15 minutes. Is that Paris? I can't see. No, it's already past Paris. Paris is completely fine for the night. Breeze under a severe thunderstorm watch and a severe thunderstorm warning. No tornado watch, no tornado warning. Let's talk about Toy Story. I liked the first Toy Story. The ones after that and Toy Story 2 maybe, 3 and 4 felt really forced. Are you staying live till it exits Kentucky? I don't know. If it's just this one cluster and it continues to just be 60-mile-per-hour winds, I'll probably honestly get off because 60-mile-per-hour winds is not going to be a danger to life. It's going to annoy you and scare you, but it's not going to be a danger to your life as long as you're not outside doing a butt-naked dance in it, okay? If you're inside, safe in your bed, you're going to be fine. Again, if you're circled, folks, I would pay attention for the night. If you're not circled, go to bed or keep watching us and hanging out. But yeah, I have no concern if you're not circled. Taylorsville, you're fine. The worst of it's already past you. Again, kind of the circled area, folks. So look at the map here. You should either see your city name or a city that you at least recognize, either inside or outside of the circle. If you do not see either of those, you are not included in my concern area. You see this upticking to 70, it's possible. I just think it's not likely. He said, how long are these storms lasting? About 20, 30 minutes, whenever they get in your area at the worst of it anyway. Whitley City is circled. When is it going to get here? Where the heck is Whitley City at? I'm going to guess it's like right here. See, this is why you gotta give me bigger cities near y'all. Oh, all the way down here? Girl, you got like 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours. Are we possibly getting tornadoes? Again, I think that's very unlikely. You like WLKY? I like J Card OC. Shh. Lots of trees down in Baghdad, Kentucky. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, again, the grounds are still, I mean, even if you haven't seen a lot of rain lately, the grounds are still pretty saturated pretty much throughout all of Kentucky. So even 60-mile-per-hour winds can take some of those decent trees down. Oh, you're good, Caitlin. It would make my job. I need to like sit down for like a month, guys, and just look at every single city in Kentucky and just try my best to memorize it. It's crazy though. You guys, some of you guys give me your suburbs, like I'm supposed to know where that's at. Jude's awesome on WDRB. Bryce is awesome. Those are about the only two. I'm not gonna go anymore. No one, no, hey, no one ask about the M dude. No one of you gonna try to rage bait me into answering that. I'm driving on I-75 around Lexington, and I'm about to go through Richmond. What can I expect from the storm over the next hour or two? 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, lots of lightning, heavy rainfall. What's Danville looking like? 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts coming in with that line in about 10 to 15 minutes. Cartersville, about 10 minutes from Berea. Dude, I love how you added that context in there, Emily. So you're probably like right here? Somewhere in there. 60-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. Worst of it being your area in about 40 minutes-ish. Is that something to watch up there in Taylorsville? Nah. Weed E-Town all good? Most likely, yes. When will it hit Richmond? The worst of it, probably about 20 minutes. Is it supposed to get bad near Danville? Well, you got a 60-mile-per-hour severe warning for the next 40 minutes. I got you, Ashley. I want to know what it'd be on my doorstep down to the minute. Yes, ma'am. Richmond's getting loud. Yeah, a lot of lightning with this, folks. A lot of lightning. Do people ever just give you made-up city names to look for? I feel like even if they tried that, there would be some sort of city inside of Kentucky named that. You guys would be amazed by some of the names that we have in Kentucky. Chris, thank you for your 99 stars. I appreciate that. Nancy, Kentucky, probably going to miss you. It's going to be real close. But if it does, 60-mile-per-hour severe wind threat. Again, guys, if you're just now tuning in here with us, welcome in. I'm George Herbert, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now, Kentucky. We do have kind of this circled area here that I made. It's kind of my area of concern for tonight. So if you're not in that circle, I don't think you really need to pay attention. Just have a way to receive alerts, notifications. Of course, if you are inside of that circle, be sure to pay attention for the potential for damaging wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour. Yes, there is a non-zero tornado threat, but I do think it's like 0.1%, folks. I really don't see a tornado threat with this. Okay. All right. I'm going to run to the little weather boys room. Try to be back in under 90 seconds. All right. Okay. Once this cluster passes, are we good? Yeah. Yo, that is a huge cap starting to build in. The one of those storms in central Kentucky can't get going. There's too much negative storm fuel there. Matter of fact, there's probably a good possibility these fall apart. I mean, Kentucky Mesonettes only picking up 35 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Is there a probability of tornado warnings? No. Probably like 0.1%. You think this cluster will weaken by the time it reaches London and Somerset? Probably a little bit. What's going on? It's about 45 in Litchfield. Oh, just rain showers. A little lightning out there too, but I really don't see much out there, to be honest with you. No kidding, Ashley. Again, guys, if you're just now tuning in here, inside of the circled area is my area to watch tonight. If you're not inside of that circled area, go to bed. Just have a way to receive alerts and notifications in case anything changes. But again, in my opinion, circled area, that's about it. I gotta say though, little bit. I'm not like crazily surprised. I'm a little bit surprised they went ahead and extended that severe watch all the way down here because we do have a very decent cap that's built in. Not only with the storms, but behind the storms and in front of the storms. Again, going to likely limit how strong they can get. I really do not see this being a huge deal, folks. We did briefly get a 61 mile per hour reading back out there toward Frankfurt, as you guys can see. But ever since then, it's been 35, 47, 48, 39 in Lexington, 32. It's been below severe levels. And even on the radar here, like when we go and measure this, we're getting about the same thing, 45, 51. Again, below severe levels. So I think we're probably at about, to be honest with you folks, about 45 to 55 mile per hour wind gust, which again is below severe levels. Really surprised they just haven't trimmed off this backside or anything yet off the watch area. Any storms just have not done anything. In central Kentucky, southwest Indiana, that portion of the line has really calmed down now as well. Again, if you're just now tuning in here, circled area, watch, hang out here with us, pay attention. If you're not in the circled area, enjoy your night. Fall asleep to the peaceful rain and thunder showers. These storms are moving at a speed of about 40 miles per hour for those people asking. We just moved here from Wyoming in December. Right now, Wyoming is fire season. Yeah, much different climatology down here. I feel like your original forecast this morning was more accurate. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's just the consequence of overanalyzing sometimes. Sometimes the first forecast you made is better than the newer forecast you made. It happens. Anything west of here to worry about? I mean, you do got this cluster up here in southwest Indiana that formerly produced tornado warnings, severe warnings, but as you can see, it's really fell apart. And then over here in central Kentucky, looks like it's mainly just rain showers. And I'm in Radcliffe. I can tell you right now, it's just sprinkling out there. So it's really, to me, this one cluster here, and even this one cluster, got to be honest with you, it's really not doing a whole lot. Now we got this camera in Nicholasville, or is that Nicholas? No, it's Lancaster. Sorry, courtesy of Ryan Hall, y'all, weatherwise, and Kentucky Phi. And you can see here, it's going to measure the wind gust as that line comes through. So we'll be able to see in real time what this line is actually doing. So we'll be able to actually really, again, see Right now, we got 15 miles per hour. So let's watch that camera. We'll see exactly what this bad boy is doing. Again, I want to make clear this camera is courtesy of Hass Cams via Ryan Hall, y'all, Kentucky Fi, and Weatherwise. I mean, you all know who Ryan Hall is, but make sure you go support him, obviously. You know, not a lot of people know he lives in Kentucky. Wow, look at that lightning out there in Lancaster. I'm really curious to see what the wind gusts look like as his front edge. In about 5 to 7 minutes is when we'll see that wind gust probably pick up a little bit. So I'm really curious. We're going to see real time. This is why these has cams are so crucial. Not only can we see the storms, we can see what the storms are actively doing. We need more weather cameras. Over here, Kentucky has grass. Yeah, usually in the summertime we lose our grass, but it's been a little bit more cool and a lot more wet this summer. Honestly, right now my grass is the best it's looked all year. I agreed more than 30, 5 miles. Yeah, probably more than 35. If I had to guess in Richmond, where y'all talking about, it was probably about 50. My friend's flight's coming to Lexington around midnight. Yeah, they should be fine. It probably will get a little bit of turbulence when they get closer to landing, just because the wind's above our heads. What is max wind gust? The maximum wind gust right now that we've seen throughout Kentucky is 62 miles per hour. That's the maximum we've seen so far recorded. Right now on this camera, the wind gust is about 13 miles per hour. It's gotten up to 22. And this is in the middle of the severe warning. So we're going to see real time what the storm is doing. Anyone in Lancaster can tell me what that is on the water tower? What that logo is on the water tower there? Again, this is why I have this camera pulled up, and you guys can see in the bottom left who is responsible for this camera. So thank you to them for putting this camera out there. Dried crunchy grass. Oh my gosh, crunchy grass and dirt. As always, fires. What do you think it'll do by the time it gets to Whitley City? It'll still pose the 60-mile-per-hour severe wind threat. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. But that's the threat it poses. We're up to 30 miles per hour now. We're up to 30 miles per hour on the wind. Golden Lions GC. Oh, okay. With me kind of getting anything, you're technically under severe thunderstorm watch, but you're not going to get severe weather. Richmond area currently under that warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, but it does look like the worst of it is past you. Again, we're watching this camera at Lancaster, Kentucky, because this is right in the middle. If you see the H logo over here, right in the middle of the severe warning box. The worst of this line should be near this camera in about 7 to 8 minutes or so. So we'll be able to see in real time what these wind gusts are actually doing. Yes, Northern Kentucky's good. It's just this cluster here, folks, that we're, again, if you're just not tuning in, it's this circled area we're watching. That's it, folks. If you're not in the circled area, go to bed or do whatever you do at 10:30 at night on a Monday night. Around 9 miles per hour now on this camera, on the wind. So the highest we've seen on this camera so far is 30 miles per hour. Again, severe level is 60 miles per hour. So right now, we're 50% of the way there. I had a hard time saying that one. Oh, dude. I had a hard time saying that one. Looks like it's bowing a little bit less. Yeah, that is a good point. It is bowing a lot less. And it's still moving southeast. It's really not moving south yet. Okay, still the highest I've seen on this camera is 30 miles per hour. And this camera would be in one of the stronger spots. Give it probably 3 or 4 more minutes. But I think the highest that we're going to see out of this is 30 miles per hour, which is way below severe levels. You know which way the camera is facing? It looks like it's facing east toward in between Richmond and Berea. Now, of course, someone that's from Lancaster can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that water tower is probably east of this camera. We're gonna feel bad for your inbox tomorrow. It always happens. I am glad though. Tomorrow will be the last stretch of this severe weather pattern. That's gonna be for southeast Kentucky, up there in the mountains and hollers. Down trade blocking Old Richmond Road between the Richmond and Lexington. You can squeeze me by the side if you take it slow. Okay, someone in Lancaster said the wind is picking up now, so let's see what this camera's going to do over the next couple of minutes. He has a lot of lightning with this one, folks. They just canceled the warning. Oh, okay, there. They just updated it. Okay. I was like, wow, that I can't believe they actually canceled it. I wouldn't cancel it, but I also wouldn't extend the warning out yet until we see what this does. Because I'm pretty sure the NWS is probably watching this camera too. Or they should be anyway. Is this Louisville out here or is this Jackson? Louisville. I'm pretty sure it's about to cross over into Jackson though. This camera's right in the middle of it now. Sounds way more rowdy than 30. Well, yeah, there's probably some spots that are a little bit higher than the camera's seeing. Right, but to make the jump from 30 to 60, that's quite a jump. So probably somewhere between 30 and 45 or 30 and 50. Right now it's at 10 miles per hour. And now the wind is blowing to the southwest on this camera, which means the worst of it should be past this camera. George, in your personal opinion, what is the best way that someone could start doing what you do? How did you start? Um, the way I started was, oh my gosh, did you see that lighting on the camera? The way I started was actually going to the NWS website and going to the glossary and dictionary spot, and just learning all the terms. Because if you try, let me put it to you this way: if you try to learn weather material and forecasting analysis and so on and so forth before you actually learn what the terms that they're going to use means, you're going to be lost. I made that mistake. I tried to learn everything first, and they used all these big scientific words, and I had no idea what they meant, and I felt overwhelmed. So my advice to anyone doing it: learn what all the terminology and stuff means, because people in the meteorological world love to use big fancy words, so you will get confused. Um, and then there's a whole lot of NWS webinars and seminars and different college webinars and seminars on YouTube and throughout Google and stuff. So go and start watching some of those. Take notes that you're watching them, and then go back to that glossary and dictionary if you feel lost. Electric is out in Richmond, Kentucky. Sorry to hear that. Thank you for the update there. Yeah, it's very easy to feel lost whenever you're trying to learn weather. There's just there's so much more to it than anyone could ever imagine if you don't actually do this stuff, because everyone just thinks, and there are some people out there that do this, but everyone just thinks you sit down and you look at some models and you call it a day. But if you're doing it the right way, there is genuinely so much more to it. Again, guys, tornado chances are like 0.1%. I don't see a real tornado risk with these. Okay. I'm going to redraw our circle here now that we've had some time. Again, the circled area that you see on the screen now is the area that we're watching closely for, again, the potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Outside of that, I don't really see much of a severe threat. So if you're inside the purples or this, what color, whatever color circle you want to call it, I would watch, pay attention. If you're not inside of that circle, I wouldn't really be too overly concerned. Just want to check this stuff back out here real quick. Yeah, that stuff's dead. Yeah, all this stuff out here in central west Kentucky is pretty much dead. I think we're watching this one severe cluster here, which still has yet to, since Frankfurt, at least on the Kentucky Mesonet. Now, could be a little bit different, obviously. Little pockets here and there, but since Frankfurt has not produced over a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, according to the Kentucky Mesonet. Yeah, Aaron, it pretty much missed E-Town. You got some rain going on there, but that's about it. Have a good night, Anson. I appreciate you. Thanks so much, my friend. Thank you again, everyone watching on YouTube and Facebook tonight. I want to also say thank you to our sponsors. Of course, we don't do the big sponsor spills on our alert broadcasts like this, but since these storms are moving slow and we kind of got some time here, just want to say thank you to our sponsors. They're the reason we could be here for you guys 24/7. So if you see the sponsors logo scrolling in the bottom left, I hope you guys consider supporting them seriously, because they're the only reason we could be here for you guys all the time like we are. So support them the way that they support us, any way that you can. That's Hyper Roofing in Hardin County, Kentucky. Get your roof checked out after all these storms. Creature Comfort Inn out there in Bradenburg. Save 10% off your pet's first stay whenever you mention Weather Now, Kentucky. Again, that's Creature Comfort Inn. Hodgenville Family Dentistry, obviously in Hodgenville. They want you to know they're accepting Passport, Aetna Better Health, and offer in-house dental plans now as well. Go to Hodgenville Family Dentistry. Right Implement, obviously, been with us for going on 3 years now. They are always running incredible deals. That's where we got our mower from. So make sure you go to visit Right Implement. They have over 15 locations across Kentuckiana. The Creamery Cart is new to Hardin County, but book it for your festivals, parties, weddings, corporate events, so on and so forth. The Creamery Cart in Hardin County, bringing fresh rolled ice cream to Hardin County. Certified Diesel Power. Again, obviously, if you have a diesel vehicle, make sure you go support our sponsor, Certified Diesel Power, any way you can, getting your vehicle maintenance or repaired through them in Elizabethtown. Covenant Storm Shelter, that kind of goes without saying. You know, I think you guys would be a lot less worried all the time if you had a storm shelter. Make sure you go hit up Covenant Storm Shelter. They have payment plans. You can save $250 if you mention Weather Now Kentucky at Covenant Storm Shelter as well. Their logo and phone number scrolling to the bottom left. And then finally, 3D Heating and Cooling. Goes without saying, your heat systems or your air systems are probably taking a beating this summer. Make sure you guys get them serviced and maintenance. You guys learn it from me. It's really important to do that. I didn't realize how important it was to do that until I lost my entire HVAC this past winter because I didn't take care of it. Go get your HVAC and your furnace and your AC service, 3D Heating and Cooling in Central Kentucky. And again, you can find all the information on Google and stuff as well. But again, I don't go into the whole advertising. I got my whole sponsor pitch that we usually do. I don't do all that on the alert broadcast. But since we had a moment, I just wanted to say thank you to them. And hopefully you guys consider supporting them any way that you can, whether it's following them on social media or going to the store and shopping at the store or dropping your pet off for a stay at Creature Comfort Inn or whatever else it is. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate you. How fast are these storms moving? About 35 to 40 miles per hour. Why is it still so hot in Mee County? Well, you barely got any rain there. I mean, you got some rain, but not a whole lot. You still got a bunch of warm air being pumped in from the south. Let's check the radar out here, see what we have going on. Yeah, I'd probably say this is probably some below severe levels. I'm still getting between 45 to 55 mile per hour wind gust right now between Danville, Lancaster, Stanford, and Berea, Kentucky. I think that's probably why you have not seen the warning being expanded yet. Yeah, we're getting 35 to 40 on Kentucky Bassinet too, so it's lining up with the radar, which is still, again, below severe levels. Liberty, Kentucky? Isn't that over? Where's Liberty, Kentucky at? I think Louisa, Kentucky is just fine. George, would you ever storm chase, or do you like it the way you do it now? I do want to storm chase at least once before I die. Just because, like, obviously, and I don't mean to offend anyone like in London or Somerset or Bowling Green or Mayfield that has seen these incredibly dangerous and life-threatening and life-altering tornadoes, but I do think tornadoes are incredible, like kind of feat of nature. I do want to see one in real life before I die. Obviously, my hope is that it's over an empty field and doesn't hurt anybody and doesn't hurt me. That's obviously the perfect dream. But I do want to see one before I die, just because I think it's one of the tornadoes and hurricanes are to me some of the like most incredible feats of our planet, what our planet's capable of. Maybe once before I die, but I do like what I do because I do like having that feeling that you guys turn to me whenever things get scary for you. Like for example, back on March 15th, when we had that tornado come through here, and incredibly severe storms ravaged central Kentucky. We peaked out at over 12,000 viewers on that broadcast. And that was the craziest feeling I've ever had in my life. And unfortunately, I had to leave that broadcast for 15 minutes to go to my safe place because we had that tornado happen here. But, that was a really good feeling. So no, I enjoy what I do too much behind the desk. But yeah, probably one or two times before I die, I do want to make sure I go out and try and see, what our planet is really capable of. Yeah, Caitlin, feel free. What is that circle for? It's where I think these severe storms are tracking for tonight, and that's where the only concern in my opinion, is Liberty is northwest of Somerset. Oh, yeah, this will probably miss Liberty, at least a severe window anyway. How much longer will it last for Richmond? Well, the severe threat's over for Richmond. The day you got blown into the door, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. The door actually, the door kind of got sucked in. So on that tornado, if you guys didn't know, yes, I technically was on the inflow. So that tornado, if I remember correctly, tracked like this. I believe it started out here and then went get out of the way and then went like this and then it wiggled up. And because of that, I'm not going to tell you exactly where, but I live right in here. So what was happening, and the reason my door got sucked in, is when a tornado is going, like this, and it's turning, going that way, while the southeast side is your inflow for the tornado. So it's actually sucking in winds for the tornado to try and get stronger and maintain itself. That was pretty. Thankfully, no one got hurt, so that was a pretty crazy time. That was my first time really hearing. Really, it was a weaker. I think it was EF1 is what ended up getting rated. Um, so technically, it was on the weaker side, but it was still my first time ever hearing that like train sound that everyone describes when they're in a tornado. That's how you know the difference, by the way, guys. If you start, so you hear the winds come through, right? And like, for example, if you're in Berea, Stanford, Cab Orchard, you're probably hearing this right now. That goes. If you ever start hearing that train sound, like the sound a train makes, you know it's a little bit different. And that was my first time ever really hearing that. Maya, no, no, no. I promise you're fine. I wasn't alive when that happened. Yeah, I ended up booking it inside and peeking out the door. And when I did, that door got taken from my hand and pulled away from me. And I was like, wow, that's the first time it's ever happened to me. It's the first time it's ever happened to me. I was like, maybe I should go downstairs. Stanford area under that 60-mile-per-hour severe wind warning right now, getting the worst of it right now in that area. It'll be done within about 10 minutes. I'm really surprised they haven't canceled anything back here on the severe watch. I mean, there's just nothing back here. Unless I'm missing something. Trains burn that track up. How much longer this in Berea? Probably about 10 to 15 more minutes. And then the worst of it will be past you. Yeah, I like to stand and watch those storms as well. Just make sure you're standing away from any metal. I'm over here in Danville area right now. It's storming, but nothing too serious at the moment. Thank you for the update there. Yeah, the worst of it's past you in Danville. Big Spring, Kentucky? Where the heck is that at? Not over here? Oh, I was talking about the tornado back on March 15th. Stanford area, sorry, my son started crying. Oh, you're good. No, Stanford area, 60-mile-per-hour severe wind warning. Worst of it, probably passing in about 10 minutes. Yeah, this storm, someone said, are there any signs of this weakening before it gets to Mercury? It's already weakening. Hello, just joining. How is Somerset? Under that severe watch for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but I think the worst of it is probably going to scoot to the east of Somerset. Most likely, Ashley. Do you read Hold On Scoot T charts? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, Brandenburg's fine. You think about London? Again, if the storm line can clip probably the eastern portion of London, 60-mile-per-hour severe wind threat would be probably the maximum. Is the worst going to miss Columbia? Oh yeah. Will we see another round of storms later? No, probably tomorrow, but no, not later tonight. Caitlin, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I have no idea where Bethel Ridge is. Manchester, Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, if this storm line continues on, it'll hit your area in about hour and a half, 2 hours or so. 60-mile-per-hour severe winds will be the main threat there. Teresa, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate you. Let's check our. Oh, goodness, guys. This ain't doing anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's rowdy and it's loud. But as far as severe, I don't think so. I don't think so, folks. This thing's dead. Yeah, it's only getting like a 15% on the AI too, which is low. Just so you know. Still getting between 37 to 45 on Kentucky Mesnet, which I believe is about the same thing I'm getting on the radar too. 28, 26, 31, 28, 26, 31, 3, 4, 11. Yeah, so I'm getting about 30 to 45 on the radar as well, which is again well below severe levels. Yeah, Breckenridge is fine, Radcliffe is fine, Georgetown's fine. Yeah, and they're going to go with this with a big special weather statement here, which again indicates that this is going to be a weakening storm system at this point. As you can tell, they're going with a special weather statement for 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, which is below severe levels. So at this time, we're probably going to end the broadcast. Honestly, I probably would have ended it 35 minutes ago, but I was being nice because I know y'all just love looking at me. But guys, I think I think this thing is dying down. And it really wasn't all that big of a deal to begin with. Um, yes, everyone asking about Central Kentucky stuff. Yes, you guys are fine. You kind of got a bust of a storm system over here in Central Kentucky tonight. The only real cluster that's been severe is this part that's in Berea and Stanford now, heading to Sand Gap and McKee, Irvine. I'm sure it sounds plenty wild outside, but it is below severe levels. Okay, remember, loud does not equal severe. This is currently below severe levels, and to be quite honest with you, it's been below severe levels for about 30 minutes now. Can it ramp back up to 60 miles per hour? Possibly briefly. Okay. Again, I want to point out, I'll draw it for you now, just so you guys can kind of see it for yourselves. It's really not turned south as the SPC expected, but here is the track of this storm line, and it will continue to probably weaken as it heads to the southeast. Can it briefly pulse back up to 55, 60 miles per hour? Possibly, but that's the maximum. Okay, and to be honest with you, that's like a level 1 marginal risk of severe weather. So again, I don't think this is anything really life threatening tonight. So I do feel comfortable ending the broadcast. Now, of course, if you live in a mobile home and you're out there in London, Manchester, Boonville, Beattyville, Mount Vernon, Broadhead, McKee, and places in Southeast Kentucky, there, obviously, I would probably try to find something a little bit more sturdy tonight, or at least have a way to get away if you have to pretty quickly. These storms are only moving at 30, 35 miles per hour, so you should have enough time to move in front of them if that's the case. But again, I just don't think this is anything life-threatening. I don't think this is anything violent. I think I feel comfortable ending the broadcast now. I know you guys want me to stay on for every single storm. That's just not possible. And again, to be transparent with you, this probably has not been severe for 30 to 45 minutes now. It continues to weaken, and we're not really seeing the Boeing action that we were seeing with it. and it's still moving southeast. It has not turned south. So that to me tells me this did not tap into those better wind fields since this is still going southeast. So again, I think at this point it's comfortable to end the broadcast. Yes, this is my only area of concern. Again, out central Kentucky, West Kentucky, your portion of the line pretty much busted. It pretty much underperformed. So again, I don't really have much of a great concern out there. This yellow circle is really where my concern is for the rest of the night. Again, it's Beattyville, Boonville, Island City, Manchester, Hyden, London, East Bernstadt, Mount Vernon, Livingston. As that one cluster there continues to move southeast, again, that's my only real concern. Okay, I'll keep you guys posted via or updated via post on Facebook and Twitter. So make sure you're following us there. Weather Now Kentucky. If it gets super wild once again, I will come back on the video for you live here on Facebook and YouTube. But right now, I feel comfortable ending the broadcast. You should feel comfortable knowing the storm line is weakening. Okay, all right. So again, inside that yellow circle area, keep an eye on things. Outside the yellow circle area, go to bed. Just have a way to receive alerts, notifications. This did not turn south as expected, so it probably should miss Whitley City, Monticello, Somerset, Williamsburg. If it does, suddenly turn south, obviously it would hit those areas. 60-mile-per-hour severe winds maximum would be your main concern. But honestly, honest to God, guys, you guys out there in Southeast Kentucky, you've been through much worse than what you're going to see tonight. All right, just have some peace of mind. Knowing that. Elsewhere in Kentucky, Louisville, E-Town, Central Kentucky, Northern Kentucky, West Kentucky, no concern for you guys at all. All right? I'm George Herbeck, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. And until next time, stay safe, Kentucky.